Now let me get something straight right away. I am not treating Chelsea as some sort of bastions for a newfound football morality. For the purposes of this video though, we are going to treat them as being a wee bit above maybe other similar teams down south and perhaps even Celtic, because they made quite an interesting announcement earlier this week. You may or may not have come across it. Basically, Chelsea are adding 3 supporters advisors to board meetings. Now, the Stamford Bridge club say that the trio will attend board meetings to ensure general supporter sentiment is considered. Further details include that the trio will have to enter a confidentiality agreement. They will not have voting rights and will not participate in any meetings relating to players, staff, the academy and related matters. In total, the club expects them to participate in around 4 meetings per year. So there are some caveats to this story, and of course it has happened as a result of the failed Super League proposal. Chelsea were of course one of the 6 English clubs who wanted to up sticks, leave the game that served them so well for the last 120 years and move to a closed off Super League. You know all this, you also know that it backfired spectacularly. All 6 English clubs had retreated and withdrawn themselves from the Super League, I think within 48 hours of them actually joining it. Probably the shortest league ever to exist. Chelsea, I think, were the first team to really wobble. Their fans were the first group of fans to really protest outside Stamford Bridge. As a result, the club did leave the Super League, and now under even more pressure to bring about more change at the club, they seem to be wanting to implement this idea of having some sort of fan representation, not quite on the board, but certainly at board meetings. They know the pressure is on them, and this is their way of relieving a little bit of that pressure. Now, pressure is obviously on the Celtic board as well, but don't worry, we will come to them. First of all, I think it is interesting to look down south at Chelsea first of all. Now, came across quite an interesting study online. It's called the Fan Engagement Index. It's a website that rates clubs in English football on certain aspects such as dialogue, governance and transparency. It's probably not much of a surprise that the clubs right at the top of this list, I think the first 4 were all from the lowest league of the English Football League, League 2. The top team were Exeter City. They absolutely milked it on their website, which is fair enough. Exeter City, in case you don't know, are actually a fan-owned club. They're owned by the Exeter City Supporters Trust, who own, I think, just under 54% of the club. They have owned the club for the best part of 2 decades, I think 18 years, just coming up to 18 years. And in that time, they have put just under £2 million into the club, which for a club the size of Exeter City is quite impressive. Now, I did a bit of digging on various websites, may or may not include Wikipedia, and found out a few other interesting things about Exeter City as a club and this supporters trust. They've done a lot of interesting things over the years. The most interesting thing I came across was the fact that this Exeter City supporters trust actually fund or partially fund a member of the playing staff every single season at Exeter City. The player wears the number 31 shirt, and this deal is actually called the 1931 Fund, which is named after a historic year for the club. I think they went on a really good FA Cup run that year. So this is a group of supporters that actually fund a member of the playing staff every single season, and have done, I think, since way back in the late 2000s, 2007, 2008, something like that. I will admit that Celtic are a long, long way off from being fan-owned. That's a pipe dream for many fans. The Celtic Trust certainly have it as an end goal, and that's fair enough. That's for another video in 2027, when I'll no doubt still be doing these daft videos in front of this daft camera. But Celtic are a long, long way away from being able to do any of this, and even having some sort of fan input in board meetings seems a long, long way off. Even what Chelsea have got seems a long, long way off. Liverpool Group Spirit of Shankly are also looking for a greater say in their club, as no doubt are fans of the likes of Man United and Arsenal. I've not seen anything in the news about those clubs, but every club supporters would like a greater say in what happens at the club. In Scotland, Motherwell are probably the shining example in terms of being fan-owned. There's a number of clubs, I think 6 or 7 main ones in Scotland, but Motherwell are certainly the biggest, and they've arguably gone through quite a good period, probably as a result of this. The most telling example I could find of Motherwell listening to their supporters and setting a good example for Scottish football was at the start of this season, well actually the end of last season, when they were putting out season ticket campaigns for this current season, and Motherwell basically protected the value of every season ticket they were aiming to sell by ensuring that supporters would get to see the amount of matches that they'd paid for in the flesh at some stage. Now, that would obviously happen when stadia can allow fans in. So supporters who have paid season tickets for 17, 18 home games this season and had to watch the games via an online link will get to see out the value of those season tickets next season and beyond. That was a good move. You could argue it's maybe not quite as possible at a club like Celtic, but the clear disparity in the way our board seem to treat the fans and the way a fan-owned club like Motherwell treat the fans is so clear for anyone to see. There's huge question marks over Celtic's season ticket plan for both this current season, the added value, all of that nonsense, and what the club are going to do for next season. We've still not heard anything from the club, and with good reason. They've got nothing to promote at the moment. They know the reaction they'll get if they come to the fans and ask for more money without anything happening in the background. But the truth is they are at a low point with regards to their relationship with supporters. The way they have treated fans this year has been nothing short of a disgrace. This is a club who put fences outside Celtic Park to keep supporters away from the stadium, to stop supporters from venting their frustrations. This is a club who decided it would be a good idea to go to Dubai mid-season, something that resulted in us basically chucking away, I think, 4-6 points and ending any sort of faint hopes we had of winning 10 in a row. This is a club that chose to do nothing in the months of October and November when virtually every Celtic fan could see our season falling off a cliff. They chose to do nothing, and I firmly believe that the Celtic board genuinely think that a lot of the club's fans are idiots, that this is just noise on social media that fans are making, and that it's a strength to be able to block fans out, to ignore them, and to keep doing what you're doing. This is a club that promised a New Year review just to shut fans up for a few weeks, and then waited and then delivered a pathetic statement weeks and weeks late. Celtic have no shortage of fans groups. You've got the Celtic Trust, you've got Celtic Shared, you've got the Celtic Supporters Association. I realise that Celtic fans all have different viewpoints. You know, you only have to look at the comments of these videos to realise that people have different views on football. But we're not asking for Celtic to be fan-owned yet, and we're not asking for fans to be involved in scouting meetings to find out new potential signings, or fans to be involved in the interview process to recruit new managers. That's not what the fans are asking for. We're just asking to be listened to and to be respected, and not to be treated with the complete and utter contempt that we have of this season. Not to be treated like idiots, not to be told before every big game on social media that we're going to put it right this time, that this is personal and we're going to deliver, and then to watch the crisis unfold on the pitch every single time. Dominic Mackay, it's over to you. From July the 1st, you will be the guy in charge. You will have the power to change this club's fortunes, and I just really hope you don't make the same mistake that your predecessor has in terms of treating the club's fans, the lifeblood of the club, like mugs, not taking their point of view on board and just battering on regardless. It's over to you, Dominic Mackay. You've got a chance to change this, and I really hope you can do that from July the 1st when you're permanently the main guy at Celtic. Right, a few deep breaths needed for me, I think, folks. Thanks very much for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you've not done it yet. We're going to try and crack 1,000 subs for the month of May. It's an ambitious target, but I do think it is achievable. So if you're watching this video and you've not subbed yet, we really would appreciate you doing that. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll speak to you soon.